Welcome. In Chapter 9, we're going to look at some of the challenges of information systems that are now becoming global information systems. We'll explore why multinational corporations must use global information systems. Provide some advice for designing websites for an international audience. Delve into the cultural, legal, and other challenges to implementing international information systems. So, a global information system is an MIS that serves organizations in multiple countries, and obviously multinational corporations, their MIS systems will be global information systems by definitions. And this means that you have to respect the different cultures that you'll be working in and the different standards and laws. The web's become an important vehicle for business-to-business and business-to-consumer commerce. The ratio of non-English speakers to English speakers on the web is growing. The Internet opens enormous global opportunities. The Chinese market, for example, is expected to be the largest in the future. The web offers opportunities to increase revenue and to save on costs. And here we see a pie chart on the fact that non-English speaking users of the web are becoming the dominant force. And then a look at Internet users by global region. Online manuals will replace paper documents. Websites and documentation have to be presented in many languages, so those online manuals have to be translated into the many languages that will be visiting your site. Global businesses have to be sensitive to local audiences. That means they have to accommodate languages other than English. Globalization is designing global sites to cater to local needs and preferences. For example, McDonald's menu changes in order to adapt to local palates. And here's some of the things we need to consider when designing websites that are going to be global information systems. International companies must think globally and act locally. Acting locally means being sensitive to regional customs and language nuances. A control must be decentralized. Strategic planning should be global, but can be followed up with a local flavor. Global information systems face challenges such as the ones we see listed here. Technology challenges result from not all countries have adequate information technology infrastructure to allow companies to build an international information system. Broadband communication lines are needed to support today's graphics-rich web pages. Companies can offer two versions of their websites to compensate for slower bandwidth. Language is another technological challenge. 8-bit bytecode is not sufficient for languages that have large character sets. Unicode allows for 65,536 characters. So that has to be coordinated using Unicode between all the databases and applications that form an information system. Telephone number and postal code formats are different in different countries. Regulations and tariffs are another challenge. Countries have different import regulations and tariffs. Executives may be reluctant because of hassles of learning the laws, taxes, tariffs, and regulations of other countries. Companies must comply with the laws of the destination countries. NetLinks software helps importers and exporters using web commerce. Differences in payment mechanisms. Easy payment for online purchases is expected. Credit cards are the preferred payment method in North America. Not all countries have adopted this preference. There's a high level of stolen credit cards in Eastern Europe. Europeans prefer debit cards. Most Japanese are reluctant to use credit cards. Language differences. International parties must agree on a common language for communication. Data might not be transmittable internationally in real time because it must first be translated. English is considered the de facto international language. Companies in the forefront of web-based e-commerce translate their original websites into local languages. Cultural differences. People from different countries vary in their tastes, gestures, preferred colors, treatment of people of a certain gender or age, and attitudes about work. And they also have differing opinions about ethical issues. Conservative groups in other countries may dislike the Americanization of their cultures. Web designers must be sensitive to cultural differences. An additional challenge is there's conflicting economic, scientific, and security interests. Corporate management's goal is to seize a large market share and maximize organization profits. National government's goal is to protect its economic, scientific, and security interests. Scientific information is an important national resource as well as a great source of income for foreign corporations. Occasionally, interests conflict. Weapons manufacturers have technical drawings that are valuable to both the company and the security of the country. Governments may not allow the exchange of weapon designs. U.S. Customs and Border Protection strictly regulates software applications and technologies that present a danger. In other words, software that may be used against the U.S. in times of warfare or in acts of terrorism. Countries treat trade secrets, patents, and copyrights differently, and this may hinder the transfer of documents to certain divisions of a multinational corporation. Intellectual property is tightly protected in the U.S. and Western Europe, but less so in other countries. Political challenges. Information is power. Some countries oppose the policy of free access to information as a threat to their sovereignty. It can be viewed as an opportunity for other nations to control indigenous resources. Governments may require that only open source software is used in government operations. Global corporations must ensure the compatibility with software adopted by local governments. Political challenges also include the fact that some governments limit how the internet is used. Free speech is not a universal principle. Web content restrictions are common in many countries. Global companies must obey local laws. and that may require collaboration with the government, resulting in arrest and prosecution of local users. This presents an ethical dilemma: how to balance the business interest with moral principles and help dictatorships, not help dictatorships violate civil rights, help the citizens in dictatorships protect their civil rights. Different standards is another challenge. There's differences in standards that must be considered when integrating information systems internationally. Records may be incompatible. The United States uses the English system of weights and measures, and the rest of the world uses the metric system. NASA lost a $125 million Mars orbiter mission due to an error in a data transfer caused by a mismatch between U.S. and metric measurements. Different standards also exist for dates, times, temperatures, and addresses. The United States uses month, day, year format, and the rest of the world uses day, month, and year format. Companies must adapt their information systems to changing formal or de facto standards. The European article number is a barcode that includes an extra number to identify the country. The Universal Product Code, the UPC, is an American standard without that last extra number. The American Uniform Code Council promoted the use of the European standard. U.S. companies had to adapt their information systems to recognize, record, and process the new barcode standard. The UCC is now trying to expand product codes to the 14-digit Global Trade Item Numbers, or GTINs. GTINs support global supply chains by allowing many more product ID values. The major push to use RFID tags in the U.S. could expand to the rest of the world. Legal barriers. Countries have different laws that affect global business in general and e-commerce in particular. Differing laws pose challenges to international transfer of data, free speech, location of legal proceedings when disputes arise. Privacy laws respect the privacy, and in international business, this is an unresolved challenge. The majority of democratic nations try to protect individual privacy. Laws reflect a difference in approach to the issue of privacy. European Union has practices that conflict with U.S. practices. Personal data is collected only for specified purposes, and personal data cannot be processed without the unambiguous consent of the individual. Collecting organizations must identify themselves, and the citizens, and I guess in the European Union they're known as subjects, have the right to know to whom their data is disclosed, and the subjects may object to processing of their personal data. American companies are busy collecting, buying, and selling data for marketing and decision making. The discrepancy between the European and American approaches prevents unrestricted flow of information. The European Union directive is only a framework. European Union countries may have more restrictive laws. Other applicable laws affecting online business include those that address free speech, what can or cannot be displayed online, gambling, auctioning, and the sale of alcoholic beverages and drugs. Different time zones are likewise a challenge. Different global regions require policies for work and information systems. Teleconferencing systems must be available most of the day, sometimes 24 hours per day. This allows employees from different time zones to discuss problems that need immediate attention. Teams in support centers may work shifts to accommodate clients worldwide. Managers must be aware of incorrect time stamping in different locales. Systems at both locations can be designed to record local times of both locations or record a single time, that of the company headquarters. So, in summary, companies conducting web-based businesses must accommodate non-English speaking audiences. In addition, they have to be aware of the cultural, political, and legal differences between the various customer bases they might have worldwide. Take action to provide a payment system that is consistent with the preferences of the local population. Also, there's differences in laws governing personal data. And the United States and European Union, for example, have incompatible data privacy laws.